Hello, and welcome to The Listening Room, a spirituality podcast brought to you by SpiritSourceConnect.com. My name is Suzanne Goulet, and in each episode, I'll be speaking to you about new spirituality and how you can use it to improve your daily life. By offering you insights, tools, and techniques, you'll become more aware of your connection to a higher power and begin to accelerate your path to a life of greater joy, ease, and flow. Enjoy!
It may appear to sound so simple to simply go within and find your place of peace, but this is actually a very beautiful and wonderful process. It doesn't mean that you're going to be sitting on the couch all day in an attempt to meditate all day long. It doesn't really require that much time. If you are in crisis, perhaps you will need to stop and really spend some time getting into some peace. And occasionally in our lives, we might find ourselves needing to take a few days off and address some situations. But in general, if we're maintaining a regular practice of getting to that peaceful place within, it's not going to require at some point, because we find ourselves in a state of crisis, that we take 2 or 3 days off to kind of catch up. It's the regular maintenance and practice of our spiritual connection with peace within that we get very clear direction on how to avoid the crises, on how to take steps that are necessary to enrich our lives and to solve certain situations. Listen, I've been meditating for 25 years, and I know that right now a lot of people are having some financial challenges because so much of the world is changing towards a new economy, and the old way of working is no longer going to continue. So we're having to switch gears, and if you haven't switched gears already, you might be finding yourself in a state of difficulty. But the solutions are going to lie within, in getting very, very peaceful and in a place of acceptance about your financial situation. And then, and only then, will you be taking some steps to try to resolve that. This is going to be a subject of one of my talks in the coming weeks, is going to be about finances, but right now we're going to be focusing on some very clear and simple steps that we need to be taking to affect some changes in our lives that we would like to take. So as I was saying, with a regular meditation practice and a regular time in your day, hopefully twice a day, before rising and before bed, you get a few minutes to establish your connection with Source. It's really a matter of really reaching within and offering just a little bit of willingness. It's one of the things that the Course talks about, just having a little bit of willingness to do so, to receive from Holy Spirit. And what the Course refers to as a holy instant is really a few moments when you are fully, fully connected with Source. And all situations in your life are resolved. Of course, this takes time for it to be integrated fully because we are in a place of time and space. But with continual practice of receiving in this way, we're going to eliminate quite a few actions that we have to take, and we have it all boiled down to just a few small, simple steps that we may have to take in order to resolve a situation that we're looking to resolve. When it comes to any addictions that you might have or some habits that you have that you'd like to change, with this continued practice of going within finding that place of peace, setting out your goal, and allowing yourself to receive the solution instantly. Receive the solution from Holy Spirit. Receive the holy instant. You will find that in your daily exterior life, you will simply no longer have a desire for this habit. It will simply fall away. Yes, these are miracles, and this is why it is called A Course in Miracles. And by studying this, it has taught me in so many ways how things can be very simply and very easily resolved. We're not talking about having to work really, really hard to make things happen for us anymore. We're walking into a new world. We're walking into the next millennium. We're walking into a world where we're going to be affecting change in our own lives and the lives of others by becoming very familiar with the use and production of energy. We're going to become very familiar with being very closely connected with Source and walking around with it and affecting changes around us with it. The first thing we really need to be doing, however, which is the subject of my talk, is to start affecting the changes that we need in our own lives. If you're new to affecting change spiritually in your life, then I recommend that you start small. I recommend that you start with something very, very, very small so that you can establish faith and that you can establish a practice. You're going to be looking at establishing a connection with Spirit in your own private way. And once you have done that, setting out a goal for a situation in your life that you would like to see changed and allowing Spirit to come in and take care of it for you. One of the things the Course talks about in this area is not dividing your faith, meaning, well, I'm going to continue on the path that I've been on and trying to take care of this of myself in the own way that I've been trying to take care of it, but has continually failed. I'm going to divide my faith between doing what my ego thinks is the right thing to do and then just having faith. You know, there's a little book out there called Believe in God, but Lock Your Doors Anyway, and I really disagree with this concept. That is a perfect example of dividing your faith. And when it comes to affecting change in our lives, having 100% faith, the solutions will be resolved, is very much a part of walking on your spiritual path. It's not easy, but it is what's being asked of us. For any of us that are on a spiritual path right now, if you're listening, you're likely a leader in your own community when it comes to spiritual growth. What you do and what you say and the way that you behave is often an example to many, many others. And so I encourage you to continue walking on your spiritual path and to enrich it by going deeper and deeper. Like I said before, this doesn't mean that we're sitting on the couch and meditating all day. We will be required to take action, but it is going to be inner directed action. It's going to be inspired action. We're going to feel a tremendous amount of enthusiasm for the actions that we're going to take to affect change in our lives. So that if one of our goals has been to lose that extra 10 or 15 pounds, for instance, and we've set that intention out to Spirit, and we've allowed ourselves to receive, and we've allowed ourselves to have faith, and we've allowed ourselves to let go of all the ways that we have decided that we're going to solve this problem, and we've allowed Holy Spirit to come in and heal it for us, then it's time to really sit and absorb it and integrate that solution. And once we have totally integrated that healing, we will be quite inspired to take certain actions that are going to facilitate the solution. One of them might be to make an appointment with a health practitioner and be guided through a whole different approach to what you thought was going to be happening for you. You may have thought going to the gym and working out for an hour 5 days a week was going to be the way for you to lose that 10 or 15 pounds. But come to find out, when you followed some inner direction, you followed some inspired action, you found out from a health practitioner that maybe there's something else going on here that with a little bit of assistance can be placed into balance, and the weight can just melt off. That doesn't mean you don't have to work out. It's going to be different for every single individual there. The point here really is that you are going to allow a higher power to come into our lives and resolve this situation with perhaps these little addictions that we might have that we thought were feeding us or making us feel better. We're going to allow Spirit to come in and have full presence in our lives, to just kind of move into the house and stay there, and to be guiding us all along the way.
This is Suzanne, and I want to thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this program and would like to receive a free gift, please visit spiritsourceconnect.com. Thank you.